this is a whole other world. Like, this isn't one of those things where I think only the rich few Canadians, I think everybody is going to be accessed and doing this stuff. And then you sort of look at where we're going really quickly. Like, look at the iPad. Now, in this room, I'm going to get stuff like, it's just 4 iPhones together, or there's no flash, or there's no phone. And guys, don't be such nerds. Like, think about what this is. This isn't a computer. This isn't a mobile device. This is something that when you turn it on, when you hit that button, it's on. You don't boot it like you do a computer. That's hidden away for format, right? Hit the button, it's instant on. It is completely untethered. You can be hot and live now, and then walk home, and it'll just transition to your Wi-Fi network and whatever without even blinking or you knowing it. If you're a creative person, you can sit down with somebody on the couch and show them to them, right? Like your wedding business. You can sit down with a family and go, look at these pictures. Why don't you do it? You can hand it to this amazing thing that's going to create so much more human interaction with connectivity. We take for granted how many intellectual steps it takes to have a laptop, open it, boot it, get the software going, type it. This is a lot of really complex things that are going on. And when you remove all those, what you do is you create accessibility everywhere. And when you remove the ability to try and find a wireless network, and you sort of get to the point where it's just this amazingly connected device with great visuals and all that, it changes the game. And by the way, I consider that to be very social media. It's a great way to share media, engage, and connect with people. So some of the things that are on my mind, but what I would like to do, and there's a mic, but we don't have to use it if you don't want, is like I'd like to sit down and just talk about stuff and hear what are the things on your minds. If you're frustrated, what do you think about brand, what's going on in Quebec if you want it. And someone that will have to be awkward and go first. So who's that brave soul?
I'll be.
There we go. I love a brave soul.
I'm more of a fool than a brave soul. And I'm new to all of this, okay? Okay, I'm newer. I own a company called Heelatch. We're doing geomarketing, okay? Trying to figure out how we can promote ourselves on social media. Thinking that nobody cares about what I do, so I think I'm going to go about me, so people are going to care about Heelatch at one point. So right now, my social media world has been watching what other people are doing instead of me doing much. And my question is twofold. First of all, I see a lot of my friends or business partners telling me that they're just coming into Starbucks or that they're catching their son for a drink in Rapacigny. And in my head, the only thing that goes is, who cares? Okay? I didn't say that I'm going to the ice rink with my son on Twitter. I don't understand why people would care about that. So I don't understand why my business associates are telling me that they're having a drink with their son.
Sure.
Okay? That's one thing. And then the other thing, or the second part of my question, has to do with I'm in a business where I'm not allowed to talk about my clients. Everything we do with our client, we're developing networks. Okay, like for Benjamin Moore, they have 5,000 stores across the U.S., and we tell them where to put new stores. So the last thing they want us to do is tell to the world that, hey, we're going to put a new store there because they've paid a lot of money to get this knowledge. Okay? So I'm very limited to what I can talk about what I'm doing. Okay? So what is it that is left for me to say in a social media world to promote what I'm doing instead of sending some codes, like decode what I just said? And
if your question is, I can't say anything, what can I say? I don't think anyone else can help you. But there, and again, anyone feel free to jump in. I think there's a couple things. One is, when you say that you're taking your kids to play hockey, and as you sort of go down this road of talking about yourself, you become more personable and more likable, that people can relate to you. And you wind up following people who have similar interests, and by doing that, you're essentially doing what you're doing right now, which is networking. And you're creating networks and communities of people. And when you have a need, like asking a question like, how do you market yourself if I can't talk about my clients, you suddenly have a community network of people that you can lean on, because they're there for you. And I actually think that that's probably the most valuable part of social media that people really don't talk about, which is, again, something else I've been trying to explain to my clients for years, and I still try and battle with, which is You don't build a community because now you have a geolocation-based business. You build a community. And then once you have a community, you can let them know about your geolocation business. And people do that totally ass backwards, and it sounds like semantics, but it's not. It's really stupid for most brands. I sit down with a lot of brands, and they're like, we have this product launch, we need to build a community. I'm like, no, you should have been building a community for 2 years, so when you have this product launch, there's someone there who gives a shit. And it's the same thing if you look at anything, again, I've done, or people like Mark Orm done, or whatever, you'll see that they build community, and so when they're ready to connect and do things, people are there to connect to them. I also think that if you were able to talk about your clients, here's the secret: nobody would care. So even if you could do that, I wouldn't do that. And I talk a lot about it in the book, where it's like I give a fake example of a pen store. It's like, how many people would like to read a pen blog on like when they have the new ballpoint Bic? Like no one. Or maybe a couple people who love pens. It's a small segment of the market, maybe very, very small. But if they wrote a blog about the art of writing, I bet it would get a lot of attention, and it would demonstrate their knowledge of the industry they serve. It would get people excited about writing. It would do a lot of things. And I think the biggest mistake brands make, and it sounds like you're almost heading down that road, is to blog or podcast or tweet about you. And I'm here because I don't blog about me. I'm here because I blog about you. Right? I provide, I hope, interesting value to you to help you grow your business. So I would scale it back and say, what industry do you serve? What's the news in that industry? What's your take on it? Why? And then what happens is you become knowable, and people start going. So when they start looking on, something for location-based services, they call this guy because he's been blogging and saying some really smart stuff about the space. And the mindset is you almost have to be a professor. And great examples of that are people like Clay Shirky or Jeff Jarvis or Jay Rosen. They have nothing to sell. So what do they blog about or tweet about? They tweet about what their area of expertise is, which is journalism, media, and stuff like that. And I really try and take lead from people like that. And even Seth Godin is great. Seth Godin is awesome. You know why Seth Godin is awesome? Not because he speaks simply or whatever. He's awesome because he never does what I call a meta blog post, and I do it all the time. It's totally my Achilles heel, which is he never blogs about blogging. And he never does that, right? He uses it as a publishing platform to talk about ideas that are on his mind. And you'll see he never mentions blog, Twitter, Facebook, but he talks about what they are. And in terms of a bigger idea, so he just uses the platforms of talking about the platform. I think a lot of people want to talk about themselves, not about the platform. Sure, go ahead, and then we'll
just to add to it, Mitch has already said most of my ideas. So when I read a blog, within the content, it's more than just what you know, but especially like just as you said, it's how you think about a situation. And rather than talking about your own clients, a good strategy is talking about other things within and using it for making things. For example, Apple puts up a new store in St. Catharines. If you tell me through your expertise whether or not that's a good location or not, it's because I care about Apple. I would read through you, and that way I can feel confident about your ability to analyze that. So when I do put out my own location, it's something that I would come to you for. Whereas if you're talking about your own clients, I don't care about it anymore.
And I just wanted to comfort you in the fact that we can't talk about clients, because I work at Lloyd and we blog, we do deals, we do lots of things, and we allow a business about confidentiality, and we have people doing follow Fridays around us, etc. So how we do it is a little bit like this too, what we're talking about. It's really like the kind of introvert it gives you the information that can be whatever it is, whether it's facts, whether it's audits, whether it's technology, media, etc. So that's a way for you to be part of the conversation.
Yeah, and there's like nothing more boring than like reading about somebody and their clients. There's just nothing more boring. I mean, that's my own thing, right? It's like, today we're working on a project. It's like a bad white paper. Yeah. And again, I always say when I'm blogging, what I say is there's two things that are happening. One is it's like a steam gasket for me. It's like the end of the day, and I got just let a thought out. But what I am thinking about is one, is this something that's on other people's mind? And then, or two, it might be I saw this news item and it hurt me. and heard this is going to be a good thing, where I'm like, oh, like this is, so the other day, there was a news item that said that smartphones will surpass feature phones, I think this year.